I don't know about you, Jacob, but I think maybe we need to start crowdfunding some things.
Just win like straight in.
That's
Are
what
you,
we've been doing.
are you talking about my headphones now? Are you really?
Among other things, yes.
Okay.
Among other things, we're going to crowdfund some new headphones for Jacob. We're going to crowdfund some tickets to the Cup Championship when we get there, and some World Cup tickets as well. 2026 is going to be a big year. So, if you're in the chat, you want to donate to the cause, let us know. We are here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to United Front. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Joining me this evening, the one, the only Jacob Terrell. Christina will be along shortly. She is pulling mom duty at the moment, so she will be here with us soon. Jane, RMG, Josh, Justin, Christian, lots of folks over in the chat already. Man, you guys are on it tonight. So glad to see you guys.
That's not Christian.
That's not Christian?
No. I made a huge mistake a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
That is not Christian. And RMG is Rosemary.
Okay.
Which is Christina's mom.
Christina. Okay. Hi, Christina's mom.
Mama
the journal did report that we scored twice. They did. I also reported that as well. So, yeah, it's been a busy week. Before we get to that, Jacob, you and I got to spend some time in person on Saturday, before and after the match. How are you doing? How are you feeling? I know you were under the weather last week. You sounded better on Saturday. Are you doing better? How's the family? Has there been any more T-ball drama?
No more T-ball drama yet. I don't think, anyways. No more T-ball drama. I'm feeling good. Still have a cough and a little bit of phlegm-iness going on, but nothing too bad. And everybody else is doing good. So yeah, we're doing just dandy over here. Good. How about you guys?
We're well. My older son got over influenza A. He had that last week. That was so much fun. My younger son was dealing with some coughing and allergy issues, and obviously with the weather dropping by another 12 degrees again today, I went for a run this afternoon. 12 degrees colder, windy, not as much fun, but at least it's not 97 degrees. So I'll take it. But yeah, doing well. We're doing well over here. Obviously, like I said, busy week. Glad to hear it. I do have some baseball drama. Not T-ball drama, but some actual like little league baseball drama. Also, my younger son, his basketball championship was this past Sunday. They unfortunately lost. It was a team that was undefeated and had outscored everybody by 20 plus points every single game. This is the team that came into I-9 having played as like city league or county league, something outside, and they're not supposed to do that. I-9 is not supposed to let them do that. But we came back. They skunked us pretty bad the first 2 times they played them, but in the championship game, it was close until the fourth quarter, and we lost by 8. So
not so bad.
It was close. Yeah, and it was 32-24. So it was a pretty good game. But in terms of baseball drama, my older son plays East Mountain Little League. Apparently East Mountain Little League did not have enough kids to play, he said intermediate, which is between minor and major. So they had attempted to try to play games against other leagues and could not find enough games. So their entire season was canceled after 2 games. Yeah, and this is a problem I have with youth sports in general, particularly baseball. Baseball is nowhere near as active or as
popular.
Popular out here. Yeah, that's the word too. It's nowhere near as popular out here as other sports. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that kids are involved. I'm glad that kids are doing things. I hate the fact that baseball is so like left behind here. And I get districting and all that type of stuff. It makes it really hard for leagues to happen, particularly East Mountain. And that age group the age group that he was playing just got completely canceled. So I think Little League needs to do something a little bit different. New Mexico Little League, Albuquerque, whatever it is, whatever the association is for New Mexico, figure something else out. find some other way. And I get it. It sucks for East Mountain teams because they do have to travel if they come into play. Like some of the games they were going to play were going to be over at like La Cueva, which is not easy for anybody. But Yaffle makes it work. I don't know why Little League can't make it work. But that's just me. Maybe we just need to take over. You and I need to run youth sports.
Nope.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
No.
Have you dealt with youth parents? You've dealt with youth parents. You've refed. Yeah. Your kids are in youth sports. No, I'm good.
Yeah, I deal with youth parents quite a bit. So I understand the reticence to try to do it, but it's something just youth sports in general needs to be overhauled. I think AYSO does some good things. I think I9 does some good things. I think Yaffle does some good things. Do I think they all work perfectly? No. I actually found a job for a youth sports league from the East Coast. I've been looking into them. It's growing. And I like what they're doing. I think, it'll be interesting to see if maybe if maybe they expand out here. I don't know, but in my opinion, all youth sports should be fully funded. All youth sports should be fully funded. Parents should not have to play. Youth sports should be available for every kid, regardless of income, regardless of age, gender, whatever. Youth sports need to be available for everybody. So I how that happens, I don't know. I know the United Academy has done a pretty good job of fundraising there and keeping the academy funded, but at a grassroots level, I think it needs to be across the board. Youth sports just are essential. I think there's such a good thing for kids. I really do. So I don't know how you change it. I think you need to get the buy-in from teams like New Mexico United, from the Runners, from the Gladiators, from the Isotopes, from the parent club. Who's their parent club? Do they have a parent club? Or is their parent club any good, Jacob? Maybe some buy-in from them. I don't know, but I mean, you need buy-in, and you need support, and you need funding. But yeah, youth sports definitely needs a major lift, no matter what it is. So, but that's not why we're here. That's not why we're here at all. Busy week. Obviously, New Mexico United had 2 matches. First up, they played against Monterey Bay midweek in league play. United picked up a win there, and then picked up a win at the weekend over Union Omaha. And as was mentioned over in the chat, I talked about it over on social media. Union Omaha had never lost to a championship team in cup play. So big night for United. Union Omaha, very solid team. I was impressed to see a 2-0 win there. Jacob, let's just hop right into it, and we'll start with the highlights of the Wednesday match. We'll go here, and I'll pull that up. There we go. So back to Wednesday, United against Monterey Bay. I mean, really, you got 2 clean sheets in a week, 2 really great performances by this club. What stood out to you, Jacob? First of all, going into that Monterey match, trying to come back from the cup loss to El Paso.
Both of these matches this week just have shown me that we're a really good club that I think we'll talk about it here in a little bit. Like I just neither match really seemed to give us any trouble. Monterey Bay shot 5 times, did not put one on net. The defense is stout. Possession is our best defender. We've been killing it in possession, and it's really hard to score, like we've said, when you don't have the ball. And so being able to control the ball, control the match, when we do give up the ball, we're still able to make that transition to defense quickly and not really give up anything. This was the biggest chance that they had. Tambi was off his line, which we saw against Union Omaha as well. That one was a little bit closer, but other than that, they really didn't threaten. We had a handful of chances. We finally took some shots and put some shots on frame, more so in the Union Omaha match, but we did get 5 shots on frame in the Monterey Bay match. And I think we took 12 overall. And so we're progressing. We're getting more and more shots. Monterey Bay did come in and open it up a little more. And we still controlled the match. We still controlled possession. We still created chances. We still get the victory. And so all in all, it's hard for me to differentiate between the two matches and like separate them into specifics from this one or specifics from that one. It just, as a whole, we just look like we've looked for the last couple weeks, minus the El Paso match. And that is just kind of dominant without putting up multiple goals. I mean, putting up a lot of goals.
Christina is with us now. Christina, thank you. We're glad you're able to join us here. I guess mom duty is done for the evening.
Yeah, I finally sent the kid off to bed and said, "Okay, we're done for tonight."
Oh, there you go. That's the way to do it. You and I met up before the match on Wednesday, and we obviously all discussed things throughout the week in our group chat. Now I know unfortunately you didn't make it out to either match last week, but getting to watch.
I went to the Monterey match.
Did you? Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you had made it out.
I did. I made it.
Okay. Yeah, I know you had mentioned that you would let me know if you were gonna get there. But yeah.
It was by the skin of my teeth. We got there and they were already playing.
Okay.
So I think we missed maybe like the first 10 minutes or so. But yeah, I was really glad to have made that one.
Okay, good. So what were your thoughts going into this? Did you think there was going to be any sort of letdown after El Paso? Who stood out to you in this one?
I feel like it was a month ago. I have to really think about.
Right.
Who do I remember? Initially, when I first sat down in my seats, like the first few minutes, I was like, admittedly from that distance, I'm still trying to get an idea of like who the guys are, and remembering. And so at first, I was trying to figure out who Zalelem was. But he stood out to me at initially. Like I really liked seeing his through balls. He seemed like he was playing really aggressively. I think he kind of fizzled out as the game progressed. But I was definitely doing some work to figure out who he was, and then I was like, oh, that's Zalelem. But I was expecting it to be kind of like a chess match. I was expecting it to be pretty equal. It felt like it. Like I was on pins and needles for the bulk of the game. I was glad to see the guys shooting more, but I feel like both matches, while I'm pleased at the number of shots being taken, it feels like they keep shooting directly at the keeper.
That was definitely a thing that happened. And especially particularly on Saturday, and we'll get there eventually.
Sorry, no. I just have to show Harry that he's wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that says position 1, New Mexico United, in Group 2. Just wanted to point that out there, Harry, just so you know.
How you doing, Harry? Glad to see you. Hopefully, AJ is doing well. But yeah, no, I agree with that. You talk about Zalelem. I know that a friend of the show, Space Kid, was in town on Wednesday. Apparently he got to talk to Gideon after the match. And to your point about him kind of fizzling out a bit, it did sound as though he picked up a bit of a muscle thing, potentially just some cramping, but that certainly would have slowed him down there in the end. And there you see Kalen Wright, and Kalen had a phenomenal night on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. I really think he did. Kalen had a bit of a shiner Wednesday night. He took quite a shot towards the end of the match, and his eye was significantly swollen. If you ever watch Rocky, the scene where he's punched and the eyelid swells up. Yeah, Kalen's was not quite that bad, but he had taken a significant hit late in the match on Wednesday. But there was a lot of a really great effort in this one. I was really happy to see that Monterey came in and was willing to open up the match a bit.
Mm-hmm.
They certainly didn't sit back, and I think it played into our hands a bit. Jacob was talking as you were coming in about the possession aspect of this match, and even on Saturday as well. But you watch what in this match here, Monterey did have a couple of chances early. You don't really see them sitting back, and it opens up the opportunity. Second fastest goal of the season. We've been talking the past few weeks about getting an early goal. How important do you think that was for this club coming off of the cup, getting an early goal and making a statement in this one?
Oh, I think super important, especially with Monterey coming in the number 1 seed. We are coming in off of a loss. I think just for their psyche, that mentality to just come out, pressing and seeing results from it. I was totally expecting to see that long ball to the left, and sure enough, I mean, I feel like when they did get some breakaways, it typically was that, but I think Will did a pretty good job, at least helping us to hold on to that lead.
Yeah, that did. Jacob, talk a little bit about the play of Will Seymour. We talked about it Saturday night, and obviously we'll get to that. I mentioned we'll get to that match as well. But Will has been very good. He and Kalen have been solid on that back line, and they're both looking. You and I talked on Saturday. Kalen looks more like he did 2 years ago. Will has just continued to improve over the past couple of seasons, and I think this is the best that we've seen him so far.
By far, I think year 1 with him, he was solid, but this new position out for him. I mean, I'm sure he's probably played there in the past sometime, but moving him out to right back has just been like I don't know what it is about that, what it is that's working for him out there, but he just freaking seems to love it and has taken to it and is just kind of kicking ass out there. I mean, I was kind of concerned because in Quill's system and in Sanchez's system, like, you're not going to just sit back and just be like a third center back. You're going to have to get forward and you're going to have to use your legs. I still am slightly worried about his ability to produce. When he's out there, I think he'll produce. I just don't know if minutes-wise, if he keeps putting these kind of minutes. Right now, he is Tambakis and Maples are the only 2 people ahead of him, and they've played every minute of every match in league play anyways. And then Seymour's right behind him in league play, only 11 minutes behind those 2. So as far as the 6 league matches, he has missed 11 minutes, and that is it. I think once we get Gloucester back, and Lindsay can go back to the right, which is where I think we all kind of expected him to begin the season. We can give Will some rest there, but other than the fact that he's logging a lot of minutes and I'm slightly worried about his ability to stay at the level that he's at over the course of 34 plus matches. He's just dominant out there. His ability to get forward and get involved in the attack, but also track back and cover for Maples if Maples makes a run forward. It's just I don't know. He has blown me away with his ability to be out there on the right and think he's arguably, I mean, it's hard to differentiate. It's hard to really quantify how good the defense has been when we've just killed it in possession so far. But every time we have had a spell of somebody, like I think of El Paso in the first few minutes when they kind of took it to us in the league match here at home and had some chances. We got pinned back a little bit, but we still did good. Monterey Bay didn't really pin us back too bad, but when they did have set pieces or a couple breakaway chances, the guys get back. And so when you look at Maples, Seymour, Ryden, Tambakis, Lindsay, Gloucester, when he was out there on the left, all of those guys have just been rock solid back there, aside from the Kayla mistake in week 1. I don't know if any of them have put a foot wrong.
Did you guys by chance read John Morrissey's his article on the Jagermeister.
The winners and losers, I did.
Yeah, so that little blurb, I don't know if you guys already talked about it, but that blurb about Maples was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, so he mentioned Maples and the work that he's put in and everything like that, and yeah, I mean Maples is a guy that, I mean, I have his name on the jersey that I bought this year.
He's our new captain.
He's one of the captains. Something that I kind of stay away from on this show, not because I'm ashamed by any means, but because we're a soccer podcast and that's what we mainly cover. I am active in the church, and Talon seems to be a man of faith as well. And I think there's quite a few on the team. And I'm maybe working an angle there for a story that I want to try to do this year. But he's by far one of my favorite players that we've had. And on the field, he is just a freaking stud. I mean, I'll have to go back and look at last year, but I know he's played every minute of every game this year as far as league play is concerned. And I'm almost positive he did that last year or was pretty damn close to doing it last year as far as league play is concerned. And the fact that he's doing that,
especially with Kalen's injury last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's been an Iron Man. The best ability is availability sometimes, but on top of that, with him, you also get a damn good center back and somebody that he might be a little undersized. He might be a step slower than some others, but he just freaking tries and shows up time after time again. I think the only mistake that we could really point to that Kalen made, there was one time, I think it was one of the El Paso goals when they played here. He got beat off the dribble. And then I think there was another goal because that happened on the supporter section side. I think there was another game at home where he got beat off the dribble in the outfield side. And then, of course, the handball. And so when you're logging 90 minutes a match for 30 some odd matches, and I can only think of 3 mistakes that you've made, that's pretty damn impressive. So yeah, I was happy that he got some shout out from somebody other than me or us.
So USOChampionship.com has Maples as having played in 35 matches last year, and 2,976 minutes. Alex Tambakis started all 34 league matches last year, 3,060 minutes, which is the maximum. So I don't know where that 35th match came from, unless it's including playoffs. But
I think it might be because Tamby missed one of the regular season.
He did.
matches.
Yeah, that's right. He did. So 2,976 minutes in 35 matches played. That includes 33 starts for Talon.
Yeah. So I mean,
amazing.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite every minute of every match, but pretty damn close.
It was up there. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
he
John
was
Morrissey,
such a humble dude too.
So John Morrissey's thing said, per American Soccer Analysis, no player exceeds Maples' 15.5% touch share. So his constant presence on the ball sits at the halfway line, and he runs to show for New Mexico.
And he really does. I mean, he I had the stats up here a minute ago. Just as far as passes total for the team, Maples has 561 passes at a 91.6% accuracy clip. The next highest person is Ryden with 385.
Wow.
So he essentially has 200 more passes than the next highest on the team.
That's a lot of touches.
It's a crap ton, man. I mean, he is constantly on the ball, constantly trying to create something there. And he's got only 46 of those are long passes. I don't know what that I don't know how long he has a long pass, and he's got a 60% clip on those. So he is just far and away the kind of he's not going to be like, he's not going to get the assist. He might not get the hockey assist, but he starts every possession that we have by far and touches it multiple times. I mean, It says here he's averaging 93 and a half passes per 90 minutes. Which one of my kids is howling right now.
And he buries his PKs.
He does. He talked about that. I meant to get the clips loaded, but again, T-ball. Did you have the audio or no? Oh, this is the Union.
No, if you do want post-match audio from Saturday, it's over in the Discord.
No, okay. And I've got video of the post-match pressers, and Talon does bring up the PKs. What I love about Talon and a lot of the guys on this team is they are very much of the mindset, like, hey, you did this. Like, how did that feel? Well, what was important was we got the win, and the guys around me trusted me to do this. And so Maples was very much like, hey, Hursty's out. That's the only reason why I shot this. And I'm just happy that the team and the coaching staff trust me enough to take this PK. And so, yeah, we got the Union Omaha matchup here, the Jagermeister Cup. I was able to make it to this match. I went upstairs, Christina, and saw Mama Christina and Kelly. I hope they told you that.
My sister told me, yeah. I was in like a dead zone, so I couldn't even really text with you all. So I didn't find out the results and everything until it was like 10:30 at night.
If you can see me right there in the green, back that up, Seth.
And that was Cello who took that.
Yeah.
This was probably the worst Maples has passed the ball all year.
That was Kalen.
No, that was Maples.
Was it Maples?
It was Maples.
Oh, maybe it was
Maples.
I thought it was cool,
but you can see me right there against the boards on the bright green. And if you look really closely, you can actually see my butthole pucker. Because holy crap, that was from my angle, I was like, well, it's 1-0 them. Nothing we can do about that. And somehow it stayed out.
Yeah.
And then here in the 40th, we get Vargas gets absolutely drilled.
Yeah, those of us in the press box, our angle on that, we're like, oh no, there's no way that ball goes in. Like we were convinced it was in, and then it actually, and we talked about Cello last week. Like we knew that Cello was going to be dangerous, but for him to shoot from 50 yards, I mean, maybe Alex doesn't need to come off his line quite as bad anymore. And honestly, Josh talking about the wind was awful on Saturday, and you could see it just kill some of the balls that went up in the air. I don't necessarily think it did anything with that one because Cello kept it low enough. But
I think it did.
You think so?
I think it did just a little bit. Not like I'll put it this way: if there's no wind, I think it goes in, but barely. I think it barely goes in.
I was talking to David Weesey Carl throughout the match and watching the wind, and because if you were watching from home and you watched the broadcast, you could see that we kept trying to play it out to the left, out to Jalen on that left wing to try to get that diagonal. But the wind was blowing in almost like a northwesterly wind, and it was just killing that ball. And I kept making the comment that Jalen needs to adjust. He needs to come into that and not wait for it to come there. So I don't know. With the wind blowing the way it was in the first half, I don't know. I don't know that it hurt Cello's shot at all.
No, the wind was blowing ball from in that first half. Tambakis' right. That's where they were going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Tambakis' left, they were sailing out of bounds. And so that wind was blowing. If you're at our goal facing where Cello shot from, that wind is blowing from right to left. And that's why I think, because it hit right in the corner, like right in that top right corner from Cello's perspective. And the wind was blowing that direction. And so if the wind's not blowing, I think it dips just inside that upper 90. But luckily, we don't have to worry about it because it didn't go in. We have we keep the 0-0 goal there, and then We are able to score. There were a ton of chances in this match. 12 shots on goal. Just and not, I mean, shots on goal, but we did not finish worth a damn.
Shots on keeper.
Yeah. Knew who the keeper for Union Omaha had a handful of nice saves. He made 10 saves. I think maybe 4 of them were nice saves. The rest were right at him. So it was kind of infuriating at times. But by far our best offensive performance. Omaha came and opened it up a little bit. They didn't. There were remnants of parking the bus at times, but then they also were like, okay, we're down. We need to score.
Well, they were really good in transition. Early in the match, you could see them dropping 8 and I love the AR call right here. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, he puts the flag down.
He puts the flag down. I love that from the AR. I'm glad that I was watching that. But no, Omaha, they were sitting 8 guys behind early in the match, but they weren't afraid to get in transition. And they actually had a couple attempts. You saw one just a couple seconds ago where they threw ball into the back line, and fortunately they don't score, but they were good in transition. They were not afraid to get forward and impress when they did get into possession. So this was a really fun match to watch both ways. And I think
that was a beautiful ball, by the way.
Yeah. I loved seeing these all back to back. It's fun to see the link ups and the through balls, like just beautiful play by United. It's just that finish, every time right at the keeper. But I appreciate them shooting. I mean, if there's anything I'm yelling at every single game, it's shoot the ball.
Yeah, there were certainly opportunities. Brucey running up on the ball here. I mean, it's just, and Quelle's movement in this one was pretty phenomenal too. Quelle getting forward, putting things. If Fernando had scored that.
So I have a hot take on that one. I'm so glad he didn't make that shot, because I was filming anything and everything except for that one. And so had he scored that and me not get it on camera, I would have been furious with myself. And so I even the attempt I wish I had, but if he'd have scored it and I wouldn't have had it on camera, I'd have been so upset.
Yeah. But no, it was really nice to see. It was great to see the guys attacking and getting forward.
Dummy. Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. I have 2 things. One, I'm not going to let people off the hook. There were several times that I think people made the wrong decision with laying it off, passing it back, stuff like that. There were, even with the 12 shots on goal, and I think 18 shots overall, or 20 some, I don't remember exactly what it was. Even with all that, there were still times where I was like, guys, be a little more selfish. Or there were other times where I was like, guys, you got to pass the ball there. So it seemed like when we should have been selfish, we weren't. And when we should have been thinking of others, we weren't at several times. And that led to chances that weren't the best. And then Fernando, he scores a couple matches ago. And I'm like, okay, this guy, he knows how to finish. And then he has proceeded to not finish at all since then.
Balls on a platter.
I mean, there were 2 tap-ins, one this match, one against El Paso that he just completely bottled. And then others, the attempts were nice. I saw he'd be going for like the upper 90 on the far side and would just put it a little wide. I don't know what this guy was thinking here, but so
apparently that's his second time that he's kind of lost his head. Some of the Omaha or the Union fans were complaining on Blue Sky about it.
Blueski? They were skeeting about it?
They were annoyed that he was at it again. And he's supposed to be one of their veteran players, I guess.
Yeah. So
that was just a dumb decision. I don't understand that at all.
So we get 2 clean sheets. We get 2 victories. We're tied with San Antonio, ironically, in both Group 2 and in the West. after watching 2 matches at home, 3 up and 3 down from these 2 matches. What are we thinking?
One of my ups is definitely the number of shots that they're taking. Like I'm pleased that they're finally taking more shots. My down though is it's right at the keeper. I'm gonna have to think on the other ups and downs though.
I mean, those are solid, valid points. Seth, you got anything?
I'm trying to get this to work. So I'm trying to show, Space Kid was talking about best defensive line. I mean, look at these FOT mob ratings. On the left is Union Omaha. On the right is Wednesdays against Monterey Bay. Here, I'll see if I can make that a little bit bigger. But I
can't read the numbers, but I see it all green.
Yeah, Lindsay 7. This is against Monterey Bay. Lindsay 7.3, Ryden 7.2, Maple 7.1, Will Seymour 7.3, Kambakis 7.6, Jabang 7.8. The highest rated players, Fonguk 7.4. Other than that, I mean, our back line, the highest rated players in that match. And then you look at Saturday against Union Omaha. Lindsay 8.3, Ryden 7.4, Jabang 7.0, Vargas 8.4, Talon 8.0, Will 7.5, Tambakis 7.6. I mean,
what's it, Kale 8.6?
Kale 8.6, yeah. I mean, it's just really well, such a good back line,
A beautiful
it
thing.
really is, yeah. And I mean, Nuhu's rating, I agree, 7.7. Nuhu stood on his freaking head, man. There, he made a couple really good saves in that match. But yeah, even coming off the bench, Fernando had a 7.2. So, yeah, it's the back line is really strong right now. I mean, this is 5 consecutive wins, 4 consecutive clean sheets, 5 consecutive. Where are we at?
5 at the lab, anyways.
Yeah. I mean, this is incredible. I think we have a really good chance at not only getting Alex the record here very, very soon for clean sheets, but also new season record for us. We're not far off that already. I think we're already a third of the way there.
So last year, I don't know what our record is.
13,
last year we had 9 as far as the league play.
Yeah.
And we've got, because the union match doesn't count towards league play, so we have 4 in league play right now. We had 9 all of last year. But I can't imagine we had more in another year, but maybe we did. I don't know. 13 sounds super high for league play. I mean, that's like a third of your matches in league play. I don't know if we've ever been quite that good. Unless we're talking like all competitions, then maybe. But no, we're definitely clean sheet wise, just defensive wise. We've only allowed 4 goals all season through 6 matches in the league. I'm focusing more on the league, but even if you include the Open Cup, we allowed 6 total in 8 matches. And so part of that, I think, is our defensive line is really stout. Also, possession. We're using possession to play defense in such a way that, I mean, teams are letting us do it, but we're also just controlling that ball. And if we do give away, it's been in decent positions where we can get back, aside from a couple little spots here and there. But yeah, I mean, so I posted some numbers on Facebook a few days ago comparing our start this year to last year in league play. Because last year, we start off hot. We 13 points through 6 matches, scored 9 goals, but we allowed 9 goals in those 6 matches. Opponents had shot 34 times on target. Opponents had shot 32 times on target, and we had shot 34 times on target. This year, overall, the numbers are way better. 15 points, 8 goals for, so only 1 less, but 4 goals against, so we've given up 5 less goals this year than last year. We did have 2 clean sheets last year compared to 4 this year. Opponents' shots on target is the big one. 32 last year, only 18 in 6 league matches this year. Tambakis is getting 4 clean sheets because he's not having to do a whole lot. What I love about Tambakis, though, is that he is not asked to do a lot of volume. He has had to make several one-on-one saves where a defender is kind of pushing the attacking player to one side, and then Tambakis is having to come up and shut that angle down, and he's doing that brilliantly to where they have no space to get a shot over him or around him. And so he's not having to do as much, but is still contributing and still making difficult plays. Our shots on target, though, 34 last year at this time, only 21 this year. So it goes to Christina's point of shoot the damn ball. And then the last one that I kind of compared was possession. Last year we were under 50% possession through 6 matches, just 49.5. So we were right there at that 50% mark. This year, all the way up to 63.3% possession through the 6 matches. And so when you look at 21 shots or 18 shots on target from the opposition and only 4 goals with 4 clean sheets, possession is such a huge part of that. And if we can keep these kind of possession numbers up more often than not, we're gonna have clean sheets and low shots against, and it's a beautiful thing to see, and something that I'm kind of enjoying a little bit more this year. Like Quill was definitely like, hey, we're gonna score. We are gonna go and go and go and go. We might win games 4-3, but you're going to feel like you got your money's worth. It was entertaining for sure and successful. I mean, it was our most successful season to date. But to win a championship, I look at this and go, man, that sets us up nicely for that. I'm not saying we're going to win one, but those numbers are strong to me. And I still think we're underperforming compared to what we could be doing.
Oh, I mean, I don't think anyone would disagree there. Again, you see, the lack of shots. You see the lack of conversion, particularly against you in Omaha. There's definitely still room to grow. I definitely think this club is still figuring things out. I think, and we've talked about it for the past several weeks. When clubs come into the lab and they park the bus, they park 10, 11 guys behind the ball. We have not figured it out. We just haven't. And if we can, we're going to be better. We have to be able to create opportunities when we're in that situation. But when we're, able to run and play, you can see the space that we're creating. You can see the channels. You can see Quelle making runs. You can see Jalen and McKenzie on the wings. You can see, Vargas getting opportunities up front. And really, like, Vargas has played really, really well as well. It's hard to say, oh no, this guy's not playing well right now, because everyone's playing well.
He's my 3. He's my up from 3 up. He gets the goal. He's everywhere. I mean, he has been such an important part of the kind of tiki-taka style there in the midfield, trying to break down those blocks. And I think as the matches go on, we see more and more of that creativity come through. There was a spot in one of I think it was the Monterey Bay match, but I can't remember, where a ball comes in and he actually heads it. He just does a little flick behind him to Fernando, who's making a run, and Fernando gets it kind of jumbled up right there. So he tries a little back heel and it doesn't really work, but that flick on from Vargas is just yet another thing that we see them adding and adding and adding. And Vargas has been the one that's pulling those strings and trying to create for him. So he's my up for sure. I do have a down though, and that's the midfield injuries are starting to pile up, and they're starting to be a concern. And so
It feels a little bit like an up and a down, an up in terms of how Sanchez and the players have been able to kind of move things around and figure out how to fill in those spots, but definitely down with we're only 6 games in and
Yeah.
already hurting.
Zelalem, Rivas, Pondeka was out for a while. Jabang leaves in the first half of the Union Omaha match, so we'll have to see what's going on there. Right now,
he just got beat up.
He took a knock on the ankle, a pretty solid one, and then it looked like he was going to give it a go. Had another hard foul committed against him, and then I'm hoping that it was some semi precautionary, and was just like, hey, let's get him out before he actually does get hurt. But I did see him go down 2 more times after the initial heavy foul, where he went down and was like, okay. Like there was no contact on that. He just went down. So something was definitely bothering him. So it just has me slightly concerned there. The Rivas thing, we haven't seen or heard anything there. He hasn't been on the injury report, but he hasn't been in the 18 for a few weeks now. And so he's for sure probably dealing with something. And then slightly along the same vein is Hurst has been down, right? Hurst had been performing really well, but is down with something, and yet we're still not seeing Among, which I do think is more of a lack of conditioning, kind of still trying to get his feet under him, from what I have heard. But at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, but yeah, he's been here for a few months, because remember, he didn't show up until like the day before the Black and Yellow Bash, the day before the last preseason match. So he hasn't been here as long as the others, but I'm hoping with Hurst being out, I don't know why he's not at least getting 20 minutes at the end of matches.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a question that I had on Saturday. Didn't really get a solid answer other than not sure. But yeah, I mean, he should have been. I mean, you would think that he would be match fit by now, at least to give a spot start here and there. If Gloucester is going to be out, or not Gloucester, Hurst is going to be out. Sorry, I saw Space Kid's comment there. So I did get a couple injury updates on Saturday. I did post a couple comments over on the New Mexico United subreddit. Gloucester is close. He's close. It wasn't necessarily anything serious. It was just a bit of a nagging thing. He couldn't quite shake it. He's close. Greg Hurst, again, just precautionary. Nagging injury all season. He's been dealing with all season long. Not believed to be anything anywhere near the likes of what Sergio had last year with the hernia. Just something minor he's been dealing with. So gave him some rest. Sergio, not hurt. He's fine. A couple other updates. Dayon Harris.
That's not what I heard, but okay.
I don't know. I was told there wasn't anything like serious there, that he's fine. Just rest.
I didn't mean serious. I don't think he's 100%.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, yeah, clearly none of them are, there's like 100% right now. So, but where was I? Dayon Harris on his way back to full training ahead of schedule. So nice. Dayon is progressing. Careful. Yes. I'm sure they're trying to ease him back in as much as they possibly can, but he is apparently working his ass off and doing everything he can to get back as soon as he can. But yeah, he's ahead of schedule and nearly back to full training. So that's,
I want to see him and Gloucester be doing their W's together.
Yep. And then I believe there was one other one. Yeah, I did. Someone was asking over on the subreddit about Arturo Astorga. Obviously we know Turi suffered significant knee injury at the end of last season. I can't speak to specifics in terms of procedures, rehab, all those kinds of things. I would not expect him back.
That was a doozy.
with how serious the knee injury was, I would not be surprised if he prioritizes his health and his future over coming back to soccer.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I know no specifics. Maybe something changes eventually, but that's the feeling that I get. No, he's not under contract, but I know that the club is still working with him. The club is still supporting him through his, through the recovery and rehab. Yeah. I mean, we saw that with Sergio after his surgery last year. He stayed with the club, stayed training. He was here rehabbing, doing all of that. So, I'm sure he's still being seen around, but I would not be surprised if we don't see him back on the pitch again. As fun as he was to watch and as good as his story was, I don't think he comes back. So, bit of an injury update there. So, I mean, nothing terribly serious at the moment. Guys recuperating, hopefully, all back in action before too long. One other tiny bit of news. I had a conversation with someone on Saturday, and I know one of the big topics around New Mexico United Nation is we haven't heard anything about the stadium. When are we hearing about the stadium? What's going on with the stadium? I think we will be hearing some news within the next month and a half, 2 months. So, things are going well on that front. Apparently the club has won all of the appeals with the neighborhood in that side of things. And it is now up to the litigation between the city and the neighborhood association. So the hurdles are going away. So I would expect something within the next month and a half, 2 months. So keep your ears out. I don't have like a solid dates. I don't have anything like that, but hearing that things are still progressing, and hopefully over the summer, we will know whether or not we'll know how long it will be before we can break ground.
I can't wait to go to that ceremony.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I told David Weesie-Crawl. So the club did the announcement with UNM a couple weeks ago. David sent out the presser notification ahead of time. They said they were doing it. He had texted a number of folks a picture of like where to park and where the stadium was. I had completely forgotten the media release about it. I texted David. I said, "Stadium?" ? He's like, "No, not the stadium." So, but no, it was. I had hoped that was something, but I look for something over the summer. That's my guess. Space Kid, I will not reveal names. I will not. That will not be a thing ever. Lozano's starting the first team roster. I think he's on a academy contract, so he will appear on the first team roster. So, can we get David back on here? Yeah, we will see what we can do to get David back on the show.
If we tell him it's to be trolled by Space Kid, I don't know if he'll come.
Probably not. The injury report is a lie. I mean, I don't know where you're getting your source from, Justin, but
it's 100% a lie. What are you talking about? We know this.
Yeah. I'm curious how Space Kid's experience was on Wednesday.
Yeah, that'd be fun to know. So Justin, I will say that there are a number of inconsistencies on the club website. If you go to the FAQ page, Eric Quill is still listed as the head coach. A number of the player photos on the roster page linked to the wrong person. So there are a few inconsistencies on there. So it's entirely possible that it's just something that got missed. So I'm not too concerned about Lozano suddenly showing up on the first team roster. But so that's all the news. We do have one more match to talk about next week. Trip down to El Paso.
Well, first, Justin told me last week
Oh yeah.
that he wanted to see my power rankings.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also haven't seen USL's
So
power
John
rankings.
didn't do power rankings this week because
What?
of the. It's because between now and when he did his last one, there's only 2 USL matches. Ours and San Antonio's on Wednesday, and then so
they still count, John.
So he did a Jagermeister Cup article instead. But so yeah, I was like, well, all right. I did mine before I looked at the USLs, and they're pretty different. I'm not gonna lie, not crazy different, but different enough. And now I can't even find the USLs because the website is dumb.
I hate it. Like it's one of those things where you would think. Yeah, I will say they've done a terrible job of maintaining like the on the pitch section or around the league. All those types of stuff gets buried so fast on the USL website. I hate it.
Okay.
So they have Lou City number 1, New Mexico United number 2, Loudoun number 3, Detroit City number 4, San Antonio number 5, Charleston number 6, Monterey Bay number 7. Sacramento moves up 2 spots to number 8 for some ungodly reason. Tulsa drops 2 spots to number 9. And then number 10, Miami FC. Holy cow.
I mean, it we've talked about, it's a what have you done for me lately? And
yeah, and they're getting results.
Yeah.
And then Indy 11, Colorado Springs, Birmingham, Lexington, Rhode Island, North Carolina, El Paso, Hartford, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Oakland, Orange County, and then the bottom 2 are Phoenix Rising and Tampa Bay Rowdies at last, according to theirs, which surprised me because Tampa Bay is one of those ones that are kind of like darlings as well, but they have not been good, so I get it. Mine are just a little bit different. Let me go ahead and share my screen over here. Lexington sucks, guys. Like I don't know how else to put it. They have not scored since the season opener, basically, or they haven't won since the season opener at all, other than an Open Cup match against Southern Indiana FC. Sorry, Southern Indiana FC. Don't mean to say you're not competition, but I mean, let's be real. And that one win was against Hartford, who is also not good. So, yeah, just big names, big money, completely different results than Rhode Island last year, even though they kind of followed the same thing. Hartford, also not good. For everybody in the West, they're just meh. Phoenix, meh. Colorado Springs, meh. Sacramento, meh. Orange County, meh. El Paso, meh. Like I just don't know. Tampa Bay, obviously not playing good. In the USL Jagermeister Cup, they were up 3-0, I believe, against Miami, and then proceeded to lose in pins.
Yeah,
just
3-0 in the first half,
and then lose in pins. Just, I mean, what the hell? Birmingham thought maybe they were going to pull some stuff out. They looked good against, I believe it was Chattanooga Red Wolves over the weekend, but they also lost to Hartford. So I'm just not sure what to think of them there. Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh's the bad good team. So they're good. They're a good team. I just don't think I think they're like the worst of the good teams. Anytime they've played a good competition, they just can't get the victory. But if they play bad competition, they're getting the win. Indy, it's kind of the same thing. I have them as the good bad team. I don't think they're a good team. But I don't know. North Carolina, inconsistent, all over the place. I don't know what to make of them. So really, what I learned doing this is there is a pretty clear like top 6, and then 7 and 8, at least by results, are up there. And then after that, I have no idea. Vegas is at 11 because they're meh, but I like them and I'm rooting for them, so I put them higher. Remember, this is very biased. This is not me watching 80 hours of film every week. So my top 10, Rhode Island and Miami are the two that you're going to be like, what the hell? Rhode Island and Miami. Rhode Island's not even in playoff position. And then the other one's Miami. It's Miami, for Christ's sakes. I said Rhode Island would struggle coming out of the gate with all these road matches.
Mm-hmm.
They get through those. They've started to look better, only have one loss in their last 4. And that one loss was against Detroit City, who's a pretty good team. And Rhode Island got a red card in like the 6th minute. So
They also lost to Loudon.
yeah, but Loudon's a good team.
You said they only lost 1 of the last 4. They've lost to Loudon. They lost 2 of their last 4.
Nope.
Rhode
One of their last 4 in all comps. Sorry.
Okay, there you go.
So they kind of worked Westchester SC this weekend. The Saturday before that, they lose to Detroit City with a red card. They beat Portland Hearts Pine and they beat Oakland. So in the month of April, 1 loss. All of those matches were on the road. And the 1 loss against a really good team after a 6-minute red card. So I think they're trending in the right direction. And they open their new stadium this weekend against San Antonio. So we'll really know after this match kind of if they're trending in the right direction or not. Is Miami Vegas of last year? I put that in there, but I like really want to ask you guys a question because they come in, they sign some older guys, they kind of completely abandon their philosophy the last few years, and they only have 2 wins, but over half the league only has 2 wins. So are they going to keep getting better, or is just these 2 wins that they've won in a row just a flash in the pan? What do you guys think about Miami? Because that's the team that I have a soft spot for them for whatever reason right now, and I'm kind of rooting for them. So I don't know if I have them too high because of that, or it's just there's nothing there. There's literally nobody else to put in the top 10. There's really a top 8, and then there's like 3 spots, and then everybody else is like 11 through 36.
I mean, their decision to sort of shift the pendulum from a super young squad to now more like a veteran squad, I can see that being a factor in why they're performing better. But being a veteran squad, I'd worry about how things are going to look when we're deep into the season and tired legs and injuries and whatnot.
Yeah, and they're definitely. I don't think they're as talented as Vegas was last year. Like their roster is not as good.
No, they're certainly not as talented, but they are better than they've been. They've certainly shown some flashes. They gave us a bit of a scare. They beat San Antonio, who was first place. I had first place in the West. San Antonio has never beat Miami, correct?
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay, San Antonio, who's supposedly a first place team, has never beaten the Miami FC. So no, I mean, there are flashes, and what they're doing, they're adapting. They've put together a roster that's built to compete right now.
Yeah.
And they've certainly shown improvement over the first, 6-7 matches of the season. So I would agree. They are, they're not as good as Las Vegas was, but I think they're going to end up surprising everybody with where they finish this year. I predicted a while back, I predicted they would be one of 2 teams to finish with single-digit points. I don't think it happens.
Yeah, no, not at all.
No, they certainly won't have single-digit points. Now, where they finish, I don't know, but they will not finish.
I think they flirt with that 8 seed. I'm not going to say they get it, but I think they flirt with that 8 seed.
Yeah, if they can maintain this form, then yes.
Well, and to me, it's not even necessarily about their form; it's about everybody else's. Mm-hmm. Like the standings are. I talked about it last week. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams with 4 or more wins, and then nobody else has more than 2. And half the league has 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at the East specifically, Indy, Birmingham, Rhode Island, Tampa Bay, and Hartford all have 1, And then Miami, Pittsburgh, and North Carolina have 2. So the top 4, I think, in each side, maybe not set in stone because we're still really early, but the top 4 have kind of separated themselves a little bit so far. And then after that, who the knows, man? I mean, that's why, like, 9, I looked at this forever, going, okay, who do I want to put at 9? And when you look at current run of form and just storylines, Miami was the clear one that I was just like, you know what? I'm going to put them because nobody else is doing shit. And so that's kind of like, I should have put, this should be, oh, come on. Like, this needs to be like, that's how it should look. It should be 9 or 8 Monterey Bay and then nobody until 14 is how it really should look. And then the top 8 solid teams. Monterey Bay, I'm still not sold on them. They're putting in solid performances. Their schedule has kind of been like, their wins have kind of been meh. They're not great. They're not terrible. Tulsa, kind of the same thing. But they do have a big victory against Vegas. And so I bumped them up a little bit. And then really this is the cream of the crop. This top 6 here. And of course I have New Mexico 1. I mean, what else am I supposed to do? We're a New Mexico podcast. And honestly, like, Lou City probably should be number 1, but I'm not going to do that. Let's just be real. San Antonio, they kind of righted the ship. They could arguably be higher. Detroit, I constantly underrate Detroit. They could easily be higher. Charleston, we talked about Charleston in the preseason, right? Charleston is, on paper, the best team. On paper. Their results quite aren't there, but on paper, they're the best team. Loudoun is the only one with 6 wins, but they do have 2 losses in other competitions, and those 2 losses have come against Lou City. And that is the only reason why Lou City is above them, because the head-to-head, Lou City has beat them twice. So I had to put them there. And then us, look, like, are we blowing teams away? No. But in watching Lou City matches and Loudoun matches and Charleston matches, those teams that they're playing aren't parking the bus for whatever reason. And they are against us. And that, to me, says the league respects us a little bit and making our life difficult. And we're still getting the results. And we're still sitting tied for first with a match in hand against San Antonio. So, yeah. I know non-New Mexico United fans are probably going to call me out on that as a homer and being biased. Well worth it. I'm okay with that. Really, this top 5 and top 6, even with San Antonio, are, I mean, they're kind of jumbled up in a mess like this. And then 7 and 8, Tulsa and Monterey Bay, the results are there. I'm not quite sure if they'll still be at or near the top come the end of the year. And then everybody else is down below that. And so you could put, I think at number 1, it's us or Lou City. And then 2 through 6 could be anybody. I don't know. And so those are mine. Good
job, Jake. I think it's solid. I agree. I'm curious with Battery. Do you guys know, do you have an idea of what their lineup was against FC Naples?
I don't. I can look it up real quick though.
Like, I wonder how much change they did to their first team.
Well, the thing about them though is their first team and their second team and their third team are all pretty damn good still. So they still had Cal Jennings start. They still had MD Myers start.
Ikaza, Malloy. Yeah, no, that's a first team lineup right there.
Okay, yeah, they started there.
It's their back line. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's their normal starting back line, but it's not. I'm not sure that. Let's see what their MD 11 one was. Jennings, Myers, Rodriguez, Torres. Yeah, I mean that.
Super similar.
The only change is Hosu there. Hosu started against Indy and didn't start against Naples. Other than that, it's essentially the same exact lineup.
Well, then your reasoning for 4 stands.
Yeah, and I mean, they I don't know, that top 6 is tough, man. Like I think San Antonio is the worst of that group, but we'll find out. I mean, we haven't played them yet. We play them in the USL Jagermeister Cup, and then we play them twice, of course, in the West, and so they'll kind of have their chances to punch at us, but not till I think June. I don't think we play until June. So yeah, and then I don't know if I'll do this every week. We'll see, because I mean, it didn't take me a ton of time, but it is something that if I would like to put a little more production value into it, to where I'm not just posting words, maybe having some slides on social media and stuff, but I'm going to try to do it a couple times a month at least, and give a voice to the West, basically, since everybody else that does these seems to have a little bit of an East. I mean, I had 4 East Coast teams in my top 6, but that's just that. There's not really any denying that. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoy that. I'm gonna attempt to post those a few more places and stuff like that. But yeah, and it was a fun exercise. And really, my main takeaway was it's a stupid exercise, because especially right now, like I said, there's those top 6, then there's 7, 8, and then there's literally everybody else. Like I can see, Sacramento at 8 seems heavy-handed to me, but Sacramento at 10 or even 9, I'm not going to fault them too much if they're kind of trying to project forward. If you're just going off of results, which is I think what it should be, then I think Miami deserves to be number 9. But I mean, we give them shit about their bias. I'm telling you right now, that was a very biased list, because I don't like Sacramento, I don't like Phoenix, I don't like El Paso, and I like Vegas, and I like the Miami story, and I like Rhode Island. So you're going to see that in everybody's list, and that's kind of what I learned, was like, I tried to be as unbiased as possible, and then I look at that jumble of in the standings underneath the top 8, and I'm just like, fuck, throw a dart.
I don't know. I'm a robot. Maybe I can do it without bias.
I mean, you
are pretty close to a robot, Seth.
You could, but it wouldn't be as fun. It would just be like, they're here because of this, and I'd be like, well, I guess.
So Sacramento, I think Sacramento's way too high everywhere. But in 3 of their last 5 matches, they have given up leads.
I don't even remember where I had them. I think I had them like 16.
Yeah, yours is fine. I'm okay with yours.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Colorado Springs, Lou City, and Phoenix.
I had them 18.
Yeah, they gave up leads in every single one of those matches.
Oh, I wonder what ChatGPT would say.
Oh, that would be an interesting practice.
I don't have it, otherwise I would do it right now. But
I got it. I got you.
Okay, so Seth's going to do that. We'll move on. We do have a match coming up.
Sigh. I am so ready to not be playing El Paso.
Yeah, I just
boring.
It is what it is. We'll get them. Yeah. I don't think we get them one more time though, do we? We don't get them for the Jagermeister Cup. I'm pretty sure they're in our group. They're in our group, but I don't think
not unless we both get out. No, they're not. They're not in our series of 4 matches.
4 matches.
They're in our group, yes, but unless. So, all right, and I do want to correct something. So last week we said it was based off of goals scored. That is not the case. It was actually changed last week. So 2024, the USL Cup was based off of goals scored. This year it is the top team in each group, and then 2 wild cards, which is based off of points, and then the tiebreaker is goals scored. So the only way we would see El Paso in the Jagermeister Cup is if we both come out of the group and somehow don't get paired up against each other, or somehow do get paired up against each other in the knockouts. That's the only way we would see them again, other than potentially USL Championship playoffs.
So,
and they're the only team in our group that plays both League One teams.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that makes sense since they're borderline a League One team.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's just goals scored this
Goals
time.
scored.
Josh.
Yeah, goals scored.
So we get him again. Previewing El Paso is, I mean, it's like, I don't know what it's like. We've done it 1,000 times now. I think they're a solid squad. I'm curious to see how they come out. And I mean, they come out here at the lab in the regular season and park the bus and they lose. Then they come here at UNM Soccer Complex and kind of open it up and end up getting a victory in PKs. I don't think we go down there and lose, but I wouldn't be surprised by a draw. And we kind of know the players that they have and the players that we have. So how do you think they come out and play, Christina? Do you think they park the bus at home, or do you think they kind of open it up and see?
I don't think they'll park the bus again. I think that they opted not to really park the bus in the Open Cup, and they didn't let off the gas, and it came to benefit them. So I expect to see them open up a little bit more. I'm super curious to see if we have more fans in their stadium than they have. My money would be on yes. I don't know. I'm meh about watching the game. I don't know. I think I'm just as excited as I imagine our players are to go down to El Paso, particularly the returning players. You know, like we talked before about how Kalen was on Weehan's podcast and talking about how that's the one game that he looks forward to the least because they've just done it so much because of COVID.
Yeah, Kalen and Bruce for sure have to be just like, what is going on here?
Over it.
Yeah,
awesome. The bus is sold out to El Paso. That's what Andrew said.
Yeah, so the team did charter a bus I think they've done every year, at least recently. So I know we're gonna have fans down there. Christina, do you try to make it to any away matches? Or I know we met at an away match last year.
I have gone to year of COVID. We had one match before shit hit the fan,
Austin.
And that was in Austin. And my sister and I drove and went to that match, and we lost.
Yes, we did.
And we went to a Colorado Springs away match, and we lost. And I've gone to Minneapolis and LA and lost. So I feel like I'm bad luck.
Okay.
So now my sister and I have decided, no, we probably won't go to a whole lot of away matches.
Good.
I'm that superstitious.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to go to an away match. I probably will make one this year. I don't know when or where or why, but it won't be El Paso. But I do think we have a good showing. We're just a better team. That doesn't mean weird things can't happen. I mean, we were up a goal in the Open Cup, and they ended up scoring there at the death to force extra time. I could see something like that happening. My main reason for wanting to make sure we win is if I have to see 17 more fucking El Paso fan memes on Facebook, I'm going to delete my Facebook because they're just irrational about it. They don't understand that they suck. They're like, oh, we beat you in the Open Cup. And then they just post mad shit the whole time. And I'm just like, yeah, yes, you beat us. This is also the first time you've won in the Open Cup ever. Is this year. And so perspective, guys, perspective. But so I really want to win. And I'm not excited leading up to it. Once the ball kicks off, I will be just as into it as I've been every other match this season, every other Paso match in the past, every other everything. So I'm not excited for it in the moment. I will be come Saturday. Also, there's a shit ton of things going on, guys. My Minnesota Timberwolves are about to beat the Lakers, hopefully, as early as tomorrow night. My Avs are sucking. And so I've been frustrated with that. Little league and t-ball and work and everything like that. So in between matches, I'm kind of just like, oh shit, it's match day now. Oh, okay, cool. And forgetting about everything else. And that's especially true with this one with El Paso just being yet another one. So Seth, do you have anything to add to how you think they'll come out or what you're looking for or anything like that? Or do you just want to go straight into predictions? Because it's the 30th time we've done this.
I would hate to think that El Paso parks the bus at home. I would hate it.
I would fucking love it though. It would be hilarious. The 10 people there would be so
love
mad.
that for their 10 fans. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you look at it and I go, it would be absolutely miserable for their fans if they did that. I really hope they don't. I would hope that they play a bit more, like what we saw in the Open Cup match, particularly on their home pitch. I mean, they're 1-0-2 at home. They seem to be a little bit farther along than where I thought they were prior to Open Cup. They're definitely playing a bit better of late. It's tough. It's going to be tough. I don't think we lose. I agree with Jacob. I don't think we lose, but whether or not we walk away with a win, I don't know. They've been playing better. I could see this going 2-2 on Saturday.
I say 2-0, the good guys. I'm rooting for another clean sheet, and I'd like to shut Jerry up.
It'd be so nice. So nice. I think 2-1. I think I would love another clean sheet. Here's what I'm thinking, okay? If it's 2-2 or 2-1, and they come out and they don't park the bus and they actually get a goal, maybe, just maybe, that will lead to future teams not parking the bus and actually opening up against us. And then that could lead to hopefully just as many wins, but a little more exciting soccer, because it hasn't been like it's been nerve-wracking and exciting in the last like 10, 15, 20 minutes when we're up a goal or it's 0-0. But for 90 minutes, it'd be a lot nicer if people would open up right away and start trying to score. And so if they come in and they have just a little bit more success and they actually score a goal or two and have some kind of like, hey, you can come again into New Mexico or you can play New Mexico and have a little bit of success if you open it up. Maybe we see that more and we can kind of take advantage of that against the teams that are a little lesser than us and just have funner matches. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. That's if we get a clean sheet, awesome. Suck it, El Paso. But if we don't, then maybe that'll lead to a little bit more entertaining games later. So
I wonder if they're doing a giveaway for their game.
I mean,
to try to get more fans out there.
They might. They'd have to only order like 100 of everything to give away. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. Yeah. So that's where we're at. I think hopefully this is the last time we see El Paso this year. And we can stop having to talk about El Paso. But after that, we get a good another rivalry match with Phoenix coming to town on the 10th, and then we're away for a while. So it's going to be a fun one. I'm stoked with how the season is going so far, and hope we can keep it up this weekend in El Paso. Any luck, Seth, on the ChatGPT power rankings?
So I tried it, but it a couple different ways. It didn't quite capture all of the wins, draws, and losses in the correct order. But based off of what it read, because I screenshotted the stuff and threw it in there. Hey, Matt, how you doing? It has New Mexico United number 1.
Yeah. As it should.
Loudon United number 2.
Did
Battery
you prompt
3.
It? Did you say by the way, I'm a New Mexico homer?
Nope. I screenshotted the standings. I said the prompt I gave it was using the attached images, create a set of power rankings for the clubs in the USL Championship. Be sure to include all teams and make their ranking based on their recent form. Okay, so just based on the most recent 5 matches. Mexico United 1, Loudon 2, Battery 3, Lou City 4, Detroit City 5, San Antonio 6, Orange County 7, Monterey 8, Tulsa 9, North Carolina 10. Now, again, it did not capture some of the results in the correct order. So I'm going to try to update it see if it'll correct what it has to see if it better reflects the order of it. Because it has Miami down at 14. It has their 2 wins separated. So it says inconsistent showing. So it has Miami down at 14. So, maybe if I can get that corrected, maybe it'll give a better idea. But down at the bottom, Hartford, El Paso, Rhode Island, Rising Rowdies, Las Vegas.
Interesting.
So, yeah. That's an interesting that's an interesting argument there, Andrew. So, but yeah, I'll see if I can adjust this, and if I can get it correct, maybe I'll put some of this out on social media. So everyone see what Chat GPT thinks. So, but that's all that I had. Anybody else?
I don't think so.
No. All right. Well, Jacob, how about you get us out of here?
Sounds good. Christina and Seth, thanks again, as always, for coming on, doing this with us or with me. Matt over at Raising Anchor. I'm assuming it's Matt. Could be Jason, but I believe it's probably Matt. Andrew, Josh, not Christian. The mute guy is not Christian. I don't know
it's
who he
not
is.
Christian.
It's not Christian. I made that
Christian's
mistake.
handle?
Crap. Now I don't remember, but it's not him.
Well,
I made that mistake last week.
Sorry, Mute Kai.
Who else? Josh, Justin, Mama Christina, aka Rosemary, is over there somewhere. Jane, Space Kid was there for a brief second. Harry was there just to talk shit and then left. Anyways, thank you guys all in the chat. Thank you everybody else that's watching but not chatting. One, why aren't you chatting if you are watching? I think you should be in the chat if you're watching here on YouTube, because it lets us know, even if it's like, hey, you guys suck, I'd be okay with that.
We had a new person chatting tonight, right? Venator.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Not
Whoever
sure who
you are,
that is.
Ben.
You had some good takes though. I like it. You've been quiet recently though, so I don't know if you're still here or not. But yeah, good stuff there. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. If you don't want to miss one and you don't trust me to post the links, then you can hit the bell and that'll let you know when we go live. However, if you do trust me, I'm not gonna ask that you hit the bell, because I don't hit the bell for any of mine. I just know when they post, and so I go there on those days. So hopefully that's the case with you guys and us. If you're listening to us in podcast form, when I was doing my power rankings, I tried to touch on everybody, but you're not going to get the full experience there. So go to YouTube to see that, as well as the highlights and stuff like that. But be sure to rate us and review us there if you would. And yeah, big one coming up. El Paso, we're tired of it, but it's still El Paso. It still means a lot. It's almost a 6-point match in my opinion, just because of just the rivalry and the shit talking again amongst fans and stuff like that. So hopefully we can pull that one out. I didn't look. I know Rhode Island opens up against San Antonio. Other than that, I'm not sure there's any other really good matches. It looks like Colorado plays Phoenix, which is a good one. Everything else is kind of, Sacramento and Oakland. I think they called this rivalry week, if I'm not mistaken. Not sure how Rhode Island and San Antonio are rivals, but Lexington and Lou City play. I know that's a new rival that's going up there. But yeah, be on the lookout. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place, talking about 3 points, previewing another rivalry match, and who knows what else. We'll try to bring something to you guys for you guys. And so thanks again. We'll be back next week. And until then, guys, somos lindos. Love you.
Bye.